In 1999, a former incarnation of the present-day Aviva solar car won the World Solar Challenge from Darwin to Adelaide. After breaking down in Alice Springs in 2005, Team Southern Aurora returned in 2007 with an improved Aviva solar car, aiming for a top 3 finish in the World Solar Challenge Adventure class. Competing against an international field of over 35 solar car teams, Team Southern Aurora will be relying on knowledge, skill, and a large dose of old-fashioned Australian rural persistence and ingenuity. They will need it. Their team of just 13 people, an even blend of youth and experience, will be pitted against teams of quite literally hundreds of people with access to multi-million-dollar budgets. But in the desert, no one can hear sunscreen.
We were aiming to try and coordinate the driver changes with the control stops, which is every 4 hours, but it will depend on how hot it gets, really. Last time I think they were changing every 2 hours because it was just too hot in the car.
And how hot do you expect it to get in the Aviva solar car?
I've been told that the temperatures inside the car can be 5 degrees hotter than the outside temperature. And we hit 40 degrees coming up here in our car, so potentially between 40 and 45. I think they're wussy. Get in that car and drive around the track and see how many laps you can do, because I did 4 yesterday and that was it.
And what were the reasons you got involved with the Aviva solar car team?
Well, I'm a bit of a greenie, and I think it is important to start looking into renewable energy sources for transport, and this is great publicity and exposure and all that kind of stuff, and just to be involved in it and to go to Darwin. Yes, that's right.
So any of we're in the support vehicle, any of us hit the roof, would you be able to get the road?
Honestly, if you hit a kangaroo, I'm probably just going to knock it on the head. Yeah, I mean...
and I'd like to know how that fits with the Hippocratic Oath.
Kangaroos that hit cars don't tend to come off too well. And surgery on the side of the road isn't really an option, and I'm not going to leave it there.
So the message to the kangaroo...
Get out of the way!
By telling me where we are and what it is we're doing here today.
Today we're doing scrutineering, so we go through a series of stations where we check the batteries, we check all the compliance with electrical, mechanical, weights, solar cells, make sure the drivers can get in and out in 15 seconds is a key one, and basically just scrutineering according to the technical regulations for our adventure class.
What comments did the scrutineers make about the Aviva solar car vehicle?
No, very clean vehicle. The only thing we've got to fix is one little cover over a switch with a sign. So that's pretty good. We're pretty happy. It's a great relief to get through because it takes us a couple of hours and you're never quite sure what the scrutineers are going to find. So it's a relief to get it all over and done with.
And can you tell us about anything that you've heard from the scrutineering of the other competitive vehicles?
Battery packs is a perennial, especially overseas entries, and they have some interpretations of the regulations. So it's normally batteries that give some problem, and differing electrical standards between countries is probably the main thing.
So do you expect that some of the other competitors have got a fair bit more work to do than yourself?
Yes, looking at the pits over the past couple of days, I think some of them have got a little bit more work to do, so they'll be working away late over the next 2 nights.
If you're going to use the strap around it, yes, silicone around the tyre and the rim, then you get the tyre on, and then maybe a bit more silicone on, and then if you put the binder around it, then you put your air in without the valve.
Can you tell me what the competition is like?
They look pretty good. Probably our main competition is our sister vehicle, Christine, and that's an Aurora vehicle, and it's run by a pretty switched on team, and it's all upgraded. It'll probably be our main composition. It'll be our very early model, our sister.
Who's your favourite to win the adventure class, the class that you're competing in?
Oh, that's us. No, we've got a great chance. We're right up there with the top 3 or 4, and we're pretty confident.
What in an emergency situation is a panic situation. The safety officer will generally be designated to someone in one of those support vehicles. Safety cones are just placed alongside both the solar car and at the rear of the support vehicles in order to make it clear to any other traffic on the road that there's a vehicle on the roadside.
Why is solar power important?
Solar power is a renewable energy. We need to, as a country, be using a lot more solar. I think races like this show us that you can use it. It creates public awareness of the capacity of solar. And where throughout the Territory, we've had solar hot water systems in the Territory for a long time. The road between Darwin and Adelaide is just built for solar cars. And so it was logical, and we're pleased to be still involved 20 years on.
You've driven the car in the past, Bob. How do you think it's handling?
Yes, I have. I drove in the 2003 World Solar Challenge and for a short while in the 2005, and it feels pretty good.
What advantages do you think the Aviva solar car has over the competition?
Well, we've got a reasonably experienced core group, and we've got some new young students along, so I think that adds some experience to the group. We will be running to a schedule which will be governed by power management of the batteries and the incoming power from the solar panels. So we won't be racing other vehicles as such. We'll be going as quickly as we safely can and managing the power that we have. If we could finish the end of the day with very little power in the batteries at 5 o'clock at the end of each day, and then get sufficient sunlight to recharge ready for the morning start, we'll be doing as well as we can.